Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another week of the Supreme Self-Development and Awareness online program, where we are exploring a variety of topics that are helping with each of us kind of develop ourselves, our personalities, and learn new ways of looking at life and life experiences. Um, as you know, if you are seeing my face, that means that we are dealing with emotional intelligence, right? And where we left off last week, we were exploring self-awareness. And this week, we are actually going to be moving on and dealing with another aspect of being emotionally intelligent, right? And that aspect is self-management. So before we get too deep into self-management, I just want to do like a quick review of what we've already covered, and then go on to what's coming up next. So over the last 3 weeks, we would have been looking at our emotions, and we would have been looking at feelings, specifically physically feeling certain emotions, like what they feel like to each of us as individuals, and also looking at what emotions might look like on other people or what they look like on us. And we've also explored what it is to be self-aware or what self-awareness is. And like I said, for this week now, we are moving on to the fourth topic, which is self-management, right? Right. So what is self-management? That's the first thing we're going to try to answer today. We're also going to try to figure out why is self-management important. And as I would have promised last time, when we were looking at the how we can be more self-management oriented, we're going to work on setting a couple goals, and we're going to look at one way that we can manage our emotions. All right. Before we get into it fully, I'm going to do a quick oh, sorry, I forgot. Yes, this is to do with the definition that we've actually been using. Remember that what we've been working on so far is recognizing, understanding, and dealing with emotions. Like I said, on other people, what they look like to us, what they feel like for us, and now today how we can actually take control of those emotions that we've been trying to explore for the last few weeks. Right? But I want to do a quick check-in, like I did last time, where you're gonna see some faces, all of them look different ways, and I want you to choose the ones that most seem like how you're feeling in this moment. I know right now I have at least two people with me on Zoom, so if I can have the two of them, maybe tell me how it is they're feeling right now. You can choose from the emotions you have. I have here. And if not, there's some other way you're feeling that's not listed here, you can tell me that.
Excited.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Happy.
this is Janet?
Yes, please.
Right. So excited, happy. Mm-hmm.
And calm.
And calm? Okay.
Yes, please.
Very good. All right. Tyreek, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling happy, excited,
Mm-hmm.
and surprised.
And surprised. What's surprising you today? Hmm?
That I ain't gonna do YouTube no more. I just got good Zoom.
Okay. All right. For me, I'm feeling less anxious this week, and I am also feeling a little bit excited. Right? All right. So we're on to the first part of what we are talking about today. And that is, what is self-management? So when you hear the term, this is with the boys, and for anybody who's watching online, when you hear the term self-management, what comes to mind first? So Tyreek and Jaden, when you all hear self-management, what do you think of?
Managing yourself.
Okay. Anything else?
Nigerian someone.
Managing someone? Well, not really, because if you see self, it usually means it has to do with the person directly. So if it says self, like self-control, self-esteem, self-confidence, is usually talking
So,
about you, right?
managing your emotions.
Managing your emotions. You are absolutely correct. That is a big, big part of self-management. When you are managing yourself, you are managing how you react or what, not what emotions you feel, but what you do with the emotions as you feel them, right?
Yes, please.
So a big part of dealing with self-management is actually taking responsibility for your actions, right? So when you are taking responsibility for your actions, it means that whatever you do, whether it's something good or it is something bad, you are the person who accepts responsibility for the actions you've taken. So if you decide to do something kind for someone else, as in you made the decision to do something kind for someone else, then you take responsibility for the outcome of that action. So you might do something kind for someone else and they can feel gratitude. And sometimes, honestly, it doesn't work out that way, but you take responsibility for your choices. And also, in the same way, if you do something bad, then you are the one who's responsible for what comes out of doing that action. The next aspect that we are going to look at is also controlling impulsive feelings and behaviors. So impulsive feelings and impulsive behaviors are things that kind of happen spontaneously. So as soon as something happens, there's something that follows. So if let's say I was in class with my friends and I had the urge to jump up on the table and scream, right? I felt the impulse to jump up on the table and scream. That is an impulse. But if I'm in control of those impulses now, then I wouldn't jump up on the table and scream. I might be able to say to myself, yeah, that might probably get me in trouble. I shouldn't do that. Um, maybe I should, relax. Or maybe if I'm that kind of person, I can explore why exactly I feel the urge to jump up on a table and scream. Because that's not something we would do on an average day. And the next part is managing our emotions in a healthy way. And it's very important here to look at it in a healthy way because a healthy way means that you are not trying to do what some of us do, where you take all your emotions and you bottle them up and you hide them or try to hide them from yourself, but definitely like keep them away from everybody else. But you decide what you do with what you're feeling. So if you feel angry, you feel the impulse to strike someone, you feel the impulse to destroy something. Instead of taking that action, you might think of ways you can calm down. You could think about removing yourself from the situation. You can think about finding someone else you trust who might be able to help you or do deep breathing exercises. But it is that you think of other ways that you can deal with those emotions instead of letting those emotions decide for you what action you're going to take next. So we're moving on now to the importance of self-management. So self-management is really important because you're trying to be like the CEO or the boss of your entire, not just your body, so not just your actions, but also your personality, your reactions, your thoughts, right? The first part we're actually going to look at now is managing emotions. So when we're managing emotions, like I would have said before, we are not just looking to um, stop ourselves from having an emotion or prevent ourselves from having an emotion. We are working on dealing with what we feel and using our knowledge of what we feel in a useful way, right? We are working on controlling the reactions that we have based on how we feel. We are working on, to what extent certain things affect us. So something that you find will make you very, very angry now, in future when you are more in control of your anger, you might not feel as angry about that particular thing, or situations that make you feel very anxious, you might feel a little bit of anxiety instead of so much anxiety that you can't get anything done. The next part is motivation. So if I am the CEO of myself, if I am in charge of myself, I find motivation from on the inside. If I decide I'm going to do something, if I have to get up and go and do something, I can motivate myself to go and do it. It doesn't mean, however, that other people can't also motivate us, because other people would still play a role in motivating us and getting us moving. But it starts to mean that you don't have to wait on someone else to tell you when to do something. You can get up and go and do it yourself. Or it can mean that external motivation, because for some of us, we'll get a lot of motivation from other people and we still might not do anything. We get encouraging words, we get people telling us that we're smart or we're brave or we're courageous or we can do anything. But if we can't motivate our own selves, then you kind of end up stuck in the same position. You don't get anything done. So using motivation from yourself along with motivation from other people can actually help you to be more in control. The next part is goals. And we are going to be working on setting goals. So for Tyreek and Jaden, I want y'all not to tell me them yet, but I want you to start thinking about at least one goal that you have in mind. And we're going to work on, how we can set goals in a way that helps us to move forward and try to achieve them. And goals are very important because goals kind of get us on track. They push us towards something. They encourage us, and they enrich us in a way where we have something we're striving towards. We have something we are working towards. So they're useful. And also, once you set smaller goals that lead to a bigger goal, then it's kind of like if you are taking steps up to some place, and you can go each step one by one until you reach the end point. The next part is self-control. And self-control goes back with motivation and with managing your emotions. When you experience certain situations, when you experience certain emotions, when you are feeling particularly upset by something, when you have greater self-control, you are the one who is better able to, work through these situations. You're the one who is able to figure out what it is to do next. You're able to be in charge of yourself and your actions, right? And the last one, and this is a very, very important one, is independence. Tyreek and Jaden, y'all know the word independence means?
And like where you can do stuff for yourself.
When you can do stuff for yourself, yeah? And not just do stuff for yourself, but also thinking for yourself, making decisions for yourself, right? So, like, let's say you want to have a career when you're older. When you are more independent, then someone else is not going to decide what career you have. You get to decide what career you have, right? Or you get to decide what steps you take towards the career that you want. Because if, let's say, you want to be a farmer, then you
I want to be a
have to
farmer.
figure out you okay, very good. So then you get to figure out, what you have to go through, what you have to study, what you have to know in order to be a farmer. But it wouldn't make sense that you decide you want to be a farmer and someone else decides you need to be an architect. And you're doing all of these things to be an architect, but your real goal in life is to be a farmer. You understand?
That's one.
Right.
Um,
Okay. So we are on to the big part. How exactly am I supposed to manage myself? What is it that I'm gonna do if, or so what are some things that I'm gonna do if I want to be the one who is managing myself, right? One of the first things, and like I said, we're gonna be working on this. One of the first things we are gonna do, or we're gonna be thinking about, is setting SMART goals. And SMART goals don't mean that your goals are somehow more intelligent or have a higher IQ or do better in school than other goals or other people's goals. SMART goals actually refer to specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, right? And I don't know if you guys have pen and paper, but if you don't know, it'd be a good time to get some, because we are going to be working on setting some SMART goals, right? The next thing, when you're managing yourself, you want to set reminders, right? You might have a goal in mind, you might have things to achieve along the way, but you might lose sight of your goal, and setting reminders is a good way of keeping you on track, reminding yourself, or I need to do these things, I need to have gotten to these points in order to reach the goals that I've set for myself. The next thing is sticking to your goals. Now, sticking to your goals does not mean that you set a goal at 11 years old and you are bound to this goal until you're 40. You might set a goal at 11, and by the time your 12th birthday comes around, you might realize that's not something you're interested in anymore, because goals can change. But when you're sticking to your goals, you're really sticking to trying to achieve them. You're sticking to working on achieving your goals. You're sticking to taking steps to whatever goals you set. And your goals can always change, they can always expand. Maybe your goal might have been small at one point in time, but then you start to realize that it can be bigger than it is, and you can expand it from there. But the point is that when you are setting up a goal, when you're putting in the work to work towards something, to achieve something, you are actually able to stick to the things you need to do in order to reach that point. The next one is managing your emotions, right? And what managing your emotions, controlling your emotions. And what controlling your emotions is, as I said, you are actually working on being the one in control of what you do with how you feel, not of how you feel always, because you can't always control how you feel about certain situations, but you can control what actions you take when you're faced with a particular situation. So you can figure out, what is it I need to do next? What is it I have to do next? Where can I go? Who can I turn to? Who can assist me? What have I learned in the past that is useful in this current situation? And the last part is very, 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 very important, and it's also very difficult for a lot of us, and that is giving yourself permission to make mistakes. No person is perfect. No person is going to get everything right the first time that they try it. And when you are taking control of yourself, when you're managing yourself, when you're in charge of yourself, just like how when other people make mistakes, you might offer them forgiveness, you're allowed to give yourself forgiveness as well. And then you can try again, or you can try something different. You can use it as a learning experience so that you can, move on and do better in future. But the point is, you have to give yourself that right to mess up sometimes and then correct yourself afterwards. All right. So now we're going to be setting a couple of SMART goals. That's why I need persons in Zoom with me. Guys, have you thought of goals that you have?
And mom.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So, like I said, I want you to get a piece of paper. And if you don't have paper right now, that's fine. But you can always do it later. But on this piece of paper, I want you to have a nice big circle, a better circle than my circle, because my circle is an oblong, almost an oval, but not quite. Right? But I want you to get a big circle, and then I want you to draw two lines that divide your circle in four. And then either, actually, I'm going to start with the last person I spoke to. The last person I spoke to was Tyreek, because he was saying that he wants to be a farmer. So I'm going to start with Jaden. What is a goal that you have, Jaden?
Being the best footballer in the world.
Being the best footballer in the world. Okay. All right. I think we talked about that last week, didn't we? When you were
Yes,
telling me you want to
please.
play for France.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So when you're setting a goal, the first thing you need your goal to be is specific, right?
Yes, please.
So being the best footballer in the world is one that is a little bit broad, right? Because you have to be able to understand how can you measure what is the best footballer in the world? What is the measure for the best footballer?
Pardon me?
What is the how do you how can you tell who's the best footballer in the world?
By the skill.
By their skill. Right. So let's find because remember I said earlier you can take a smaller goal and use it towards a bigger goal.
Yes, please.
So I want you to tell me a smaller goal that can lead you towards being the best footballer in the world.
Smaller goal that could lead me to be the best footballer in the world.
Yeah. So what is something that you would like to achieve long before you'll ever be considered the best footballer in the world?
Being a captain.
Captain of what? Like, all right, what's something you can do in the next
With school football
2 years?
team. Being the
Captain
captain
of
of my
football team?
school football.
Okay, very good. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it properly, but we'll work with this for now. Tyreek, your turn. Give me yours.
A farmer.
Farmer. What type of farmer? Because remember, you gotta be specific. You want to deal with plants? Do you
Ah,
want to deal with animals? You want to deal with all? Which one?
all.
All. Okay. Right. You want a big farm? Do you want a farm that is just to feed you and your family? What do you want? Or do you want to like farm and sell your goods?
I want a farm I could sell things.
Okay. Right. So now you both have in mind specific goals that you want to achieve. Right? So that's the S, being
Okay.
specific. Right. So now, how are you going to measure your goal? How are you going to know? And continue with Tyreek. How are you going to know that you are a farmer? What's a way that you can measure that you're able to feed? Sorry, not feed. You're able to earn money by farming. Or actually, you know
By
what? Let's take a step back. Right?
any
What is something that you can do short term that can help you with being that kind of farmer long term?
army?
What is something that you can do in the next few years that can lead you towards being a farmer who is able to, sell his own goods?
By doing kitchen gardens.
They starting with a kitchen
And
garden?
then get yeah, I got one already.
Right. Okay, so you have a kitchen garden, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So use that as your measure. You already made your start, right? So you already know about planting plants and keeping them watered and what kind of soil they need and how to take care of them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now for Jaden, right? How is it that you're gonna know that you're the captain of your school's football team?
By you said, how will I know that I
Yeah.
will be the best footballer of my school football team?
No, how are you gonna know that
Captain
you're the
or
captain? Yeah.
captain.
Was a measure. This is. It sounds like
I
a complicated question, but the answer is really easy.
train it and be focused and disciplined.
No, that is how you're working towards it. But how are you gonna know? Like when you were a captain, how are you gonna know?
Coach will tell me.
Exactly. So you would have put in all that work, and they're gonna make you captain. So they're gonna announce that you're the captain, right? So that is something
That's
that
with
you have to be told, right? Next is being achievable, right? First question: can I make this goal happen? Continuing with Jaden, can you make that happen?
yes, please.
Very good. How can you do that? What is it you can do that can actually help you to be the captain of your school's football team?
By by being disciplined and obeying what the coach say.
Okay, you need to be disciplined and listening to your coach.
Yes, please. And train it as hard as possible.
Good. All right, Terry. So your overall goal is to
Yes,
be a
ma'am.
farmer. You already started with a kitchen garden. What other plans can you put in place? Sorry, what other plans can you put in place that are going to help you in terms of becoming the type of farmer that you want to be? Or who out there can help you become the type of farmer you want to be?
My mother
Your mother? Mhm. Anyone else?
and my
Your
auntie.
mother and your auntie. And what other things can you do?
I could start raising animals
Start raising animals. Right? Right. So when you get to achieving your goals, it is not just about the things you can do, because like Tyreek would have mentioned, getting help from his mother and his auntie, and Jaden would have mentioned, listening to his coach and training as hard as possible. So sometimes when you are working towards your goals, you actually have to have people as well who are there to assist you, people who can push you forward, people who can give you guidance, persons who are more knowledgeable, persons who can give you a start financially. All of those are different things you have to think about when you get to the achievable part of your goals. Right? Now, relevance. How is my goal related to my life? So Tyree, since you spoke last, tell me how is this goal related to your life?
because I want to be a farmer.
No, well, let me ask it a different way. Why is being a farmer important to you?
But because I like animals and kitchen garden.
All right. And Jaden, what is being well, the overall goal is to be the best footballer in the world, but we starting small with the captain of your football team. So why is it so important to be the best footballer in the world? Or why is it so important to be the captain of your school football team?
Because I I will be there helping them because the team will really be that.
You be there helping.
The team,
Mm-hmm. You mean as the captain?
that's nice.
Okay. All right. I know the T part, the last part is time bound. Right? So time bound means when exactly are you planning to achieve this goal, right? And your goal doesn't have to have a time limit, but time limits help to guide you. So I want you guys to tell me, starting with Jaden, when do you think you would be able to, or when do you hope you would be able to reach being captain
Um, when school open back,
when
the
school opens
second
back
part,
in second form? Okay, all right. And Tyreek, no, for your
Yes,
bigger
sir.
goal, because your bigger goal, it could take you years, right? But how much time do you think you would need to get to the point of being a farmer who has enough to make money off of farming?
A long time.
A long time? Well, you
Yes,
don't
sir.
have to have a time limit right now. Um, so that's okay, but it's still something to think about, right? Because like I said, the time is not so much important as it being a guide to show you, where you want to be at by a certain amount of time. All right. So I want to thank both of you very, very much for participating and for helping me out here with, setting these smart goals. Thank you for sharing your goals with me. And we're gonna move on now to um, the end, right? So I want to do a quick review of what we've covered today. First
We
thing we
revise
looked at,
about goal.
hmm? Yeah, we talked
We
about
look
goals.
at
What else
goal.
did we talk about? Hmm.
punch, uh,
Stop.
managing, self-management.
And self-management, yeah, right? So we looked at goals for sure. We try to, work on a goal. We define what self-management is. We identify why it is so important to manage ourselves. We set some goals that we actually want to achieve, and we try to work on a plan of, how we can get to a point we want to get to. What I want y'all to do with the same thing we were doing with the SMART goals is if you can think of other goals that you have, you can use the same layout, the same SMART, and you can plan out your goals like that and use them as a guide. All right?
Okay.
All right. So for next week, we're going to be moving on to the second part of the definition that I had there, where we're going to look at, emotions and dealing with other people. And we're going to be exploring social awareness. And I'm going to explain in the same way, what it is, why it's important, and how we can raise our social awareness. And before we wrap up today, I actually want to do a quick little exercise where I'm going to have you close your eyes and imagine that your stomach is a balloon. You don't have to keep your eyes closed, it's just for now. Imagine your stomach is a balloon, and like how when you blow into a balloon, the balloon expands, and when you um, stop blowing into the balloon and you let it go, the air comes out. I want you to think of your stomach in that way, your belly in that way, like a big balloon. When you breathe in, I want you to fill it as big as you can. with as much air as you can. And then when you breathe out, I want you to let it out slowly. And there's actually a video or a short video that I'm going to use as a guide. So when the video comes up, take a deep breath in as the shape gets bigger and take a long breath out as the shape disappears. For tuning in, for watching, for listening. I want to thank Jaden and Tyreek for taking part and sharing their goals with us. Um, Tune in next week where I'm going to be here again to talk about emotional intelligence some more. And like I said, we're moving on to looking at it in terms of relating to other people. And also tune in on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays as we explore self-esteem, anger management, and conflict resolution. See you next week. Bye-bye.